Have you ever wondered how a writer can take something as simple as the weather and turn it into a masterpiece? Well, today, we're pulling back the curtain on Charles Dickens to see how he used a few really clever grammatical choices to turn a bit of fog into one of the most unforgettable characters in all of literature.
It all starts with just two words. Right from the opening of his novel, Bleak House, Dickens isn't just telling us it's foggy. Oh no. He's setting a stage, he's creating a mood, and he's building an entire world. And believe me, this is just the beginning of one of the most famous paragraphs ever written.
Just listen to this. He builds this incredible rhythm, this chant. Fog up the river, fog down the river, fog on the Essex marshes, fog on the Kentish heights. And then it gets personal. It's creeping into cabooses, hovering in the rigging, and finally, it's cruelly pinching the toes and fingers of his shivering little apprentice boy. What an incredible, chilling buildup.
So that's the big question, right? How does a simple list of things and places become so oppressive, so alive? Well, that's what we're here to do. Let's think of this as a kind of stylistic investigation. We're going to go searching for the grammatical clues that Dickens left behind for us. All right, our first clue is all about how Dickens treats the word fog itself. And what's so interesting is that it's not just about what he says, it's about what he deliberately leaves out. So take a look at this. Dickens could have said the thick gray fog or a damp, chilling fog, but he doesn't. He just gives us fog, period. By stripping away all the adjectives, he makes the fog feel absolute. It's not just a type of fog, it's the pure essence of fog. And you'll notice other things in the paragraph get descriptions, like greenates or a great and dirty city, but the fog, it stays stark, powerful, and totally undefined. Okay, on to our second clue. There's something really strange about the timing in this passage, or actually the complete lack of it. It feels like this scene isn't happening in the past, or even right now, but that it's just always been this way.
Now, to get this, we just need one little piece of grammar. The finite verb. Don't worry, it's simple. This is just the part of a verb that locks an action into a specific time. You know, words like is, was, or will be. They tell us when something is happening. And here's the genius part. Dickens basically gets rid of them.
So when you read a phrase like this one, you have to ask yourself, is the fog creeping or was creeping? We actually have no idea because Dickens just leaves that word out on purpose. And by doing that, he completely untethers the scene from time. The fog isn't just happening at one moment. No, it feels like it has always been creeping, and it always will be creeping. It's an endless, permanent state of being.
So we've got this undefined, timeless fog. It's already pretty unsettling, but now we're at the turning point. This is where our clues show us how the fog goes from being just a passive background element to a full-on, active, and kinda evil character. Dickens pulls this off with what you could call a brilliant grammatical camera zoom. Seriously, he starts with this huge wide-angle shot, the river, the marshes, everywhere. Then he starts to zoom in, right into the ships where the fog is creeping inside. And then he goes for the extreme close-up, the toes and fingers of one single poor shivering boy. And at the same time, the verbs themselves are shifting. At first, the fog is just being there. It's creeping, lying, hovering. It's passive. But as that camera zooms in, the fog starts to do things. And it all leads up to that final aggressive verb, pinching. And then he adds that one perfect word, cruelly. Suddenly, the fog has intent. It's malicious. It's not just cold anymore. It actually wants to cause pain.
And now, for the final clue. This is the masterstroke. Just when you've settled into that rhythm, that hypnotic beat of fog, 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 Dickens, being the master that he is, completely shatters his own pattern.
Check this out. For the entire paragraph, the main subject has been one thing, fog. But then, bam, in the very last sentence, he switches it. The subject is now chance people. That little jolt completely breaks the hypnotic spell. It yanks us out of this foggy trance and reminds us that there are real, helpless humans trapped inside of it. It is just such a masterful move. Okay. So let's wrap up our investigation. What do we find? We saw how Dickens used an undefined noun, got rid of his verbs, used a narrowing camera zoom focus, and then broke his own pattern to create this absolutely unforgettable atmosphere.
And that really is the key takeaway here.
It's never just one single trick. As this quote says, real style, real atmosphere comes from the totality of all these little choices working together in harmony. That's how you create an effect that sticks with you.
And if you need one last piece of proof, here it is. On the left, Dickens's genius. On the right, a totally normal, un-Dickensian sentence. A thick, choking fog was sweeping across the Essex marshes. I mean, it's fine, but by adding adjectives and that finite verb, was sweeping, the timeless, oppressive dread completely vanishes. It's just a weather report. And that right there proves just how powerful every single one of Dickens's tiny choices really was.
So, the next time you're reading a book and you feel yourself getting completely lost in its world, take a second, ask yourself, what's the author actually doing with their nouns, their verbs, their sentence structures? Because as we've just seen, grammar isn't just a boring set of rules from school, it's the hidden architecture of the stories we love. So what other invisible masterpieces are out there, just waiting for you to find them?